I see that maybe they had an affair, but I don't think it was sexual in nature. I just couldn't see. I don't want to see that.
Bill, you're old school. Everything's changed now, my man.
I just don't want. I don't want to see Stan Hansen naked.
I have a grandson. I'm going to go ahead and get this started. I got a grandson who plays ball, and he's his first year in football. And I tell you what, hang on for a minute. Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Wrestling Time Machine. I'm Mac Davis, and that is legendary pro wrestling journalist Mr. Bill Apter, and WWE Hall of Famer Mr. Teddy Long. I wanted to start that way for a reason, Teddy. Hang on, because we were talking about Bill had asked me about my grandson and in a game that he's got going on tonight for football. And Teddy, I wanted to tag you in about this. You've got a grandson right now, brother, that's doing extremely well in football, is he not?
Yeah, that's Jackson Long. He's down there in Tennessee, and he was nominated as Player of the Year.
Yeah, congratulations. I saw that, and I was like, as soon as I started talking about that game, I was like, I got to bring Teddy's grandson into this, because that was great news when I saw that.
Right, man. Wow. And hopefully, if we have a little time, man, we can get him on the podcast and, let him, kind of say hello to everybody and talk to him a little bit.
Is he a wrestling fan?
Yeah. What do you mean? He's my grandson.
Well, there are grandchildren that don't watch wrestling.
Well, I don't know none of them.
Oh, well, mine are 3 and 7, so they're not yet.
Now Teddy knows I got 3 of them, 3 grandsons, and those grandsons, man, they love Teddy because Teddy sends them some goodies every once in a while. Man, they can't get enough of it, and they are so appreciative of it. I had to ask Teddy to sign those because my grandsons wanted his signature as well.
Now wait a minute. You just mentioned something about goodies. So back when I lived on Long Island and my kids were, 8 and 6, this guy used to stalk me in the supermarket late at night. And it turned out his name was Pete. And Pete's father worked for a vending machine company. And Pete, once a week, used to bring over sodas and candies. And he turned out to be the Tasmaniac.
Really?
Yes, yeah. He used to bring goodies to my kids all the time.
That is cool.
So when you mentioned goodies, I had to tell that story.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
There was a surprise, Bill. I want to start the show off by talking about something you know more about than I do, and definitely more than Teddy does, because it involves AEW. I have not had a chance to see their last pay-per-view. You did. It was WrestleDream, and Bryan Danielson, as I understand, lost his championship to Jon Moxley, meaning that Bryan Danielson is no longer a full-time wrestler anymore.
Well, first of all, let me say that their pay-per-view was incredible. Almost every match was fabulous. It really was. The only thing that I didn't, the way Mariah May handled Willow Nightingale, who, as you know, weighs a lot more than, they had an incredible match. The triple threat match with Ricochet and Kyle Fletcher, and I forgot who the other guy was off the top of my head, but that was fabulous.
Oh, that's driving me crazy now. I know.
Just off the top. But what I didn't like about Moxley and Bryan Danielson, after a great match, he put the plastic bag over his head again. That killed the end for me. But
they used the plastic bag again, huh?
They did. It was on a pay-per-view. But I will tell you something. Out of with a 10 being the best, the plastic bag killed it. So I give it a 9.5. It was an excellent pay-per-view. Everybody worked there, took us off, and I was very, very, very impressed. And Bryan now allegedly will not wrestle, at least in the near future, again. And but I think he will be helping out backstage and advising the guys, because he's just great and he loves the business, and he's got to be there backstage. But I want to compliment them on one of the best pay-per-views I've seen.
Now, tell me the reaction of the crowd, because I did see something posted online that said when the match ended, the fans just didn't react one way or the other. They just kind of sat there. Was it that just kind of a flat ending at the, when it all came to an end?
I didn't see that. I mean, it may have, but I didn't see that. Mox got down and kind of like almost thanked Bryan Danielson, but not really. And then, his guys all came in and attacked Bryan Danielson. So it was a crazy finish. But you had matches on that card that were just absolutely amazing. Don't let that or the internet community ruin what was an excellent pay-per-view, in my opinion.
Mariah May faced off with Willow, right?
Yeah. That's
right. I'm hearing that Mariah May went to the press conference after the pay-per-view, and none of the people in the press corps had a single question for her. She got up there, she asked for questions. Why do they even open up a press room if they're not going to ask a question? I
have no idea why she came on with her attitude, which is her character. And the match was great. And she was willing to answer questions, and the assembled press in Washington there, in Vancouver or Tacoma, where it was just like nobody had any questions.
That was disrespectful for me. I mean, I'm watching it and I'm going, how disrespectful is that? Somebody step up.
Let me say something about that. You can't just blame her. There should have been somebody there with her.
There was. Toni Schiavone was there.
Yeah,
Toni Schiavone was right next to her.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, it was just the press corps that was there that night. Teddy just didn't want to ask her a question.
Meltzer was there. Brian Alvarez was. All the sheet people were there. They interacted with Don Callis quite a bit.
Well, sometimes you can do this. You know what I mean? If you know what's going on, sometimes you can step in. Hey guys, here I am right here with so and so. Let's ask her what happened out there tonight. So
they
might
did.
Have to just take over sometimes.
They did. Tony kept saying questions. Mariah's right here, the AEW World Women's Champion. Nothing.
And nobody would ask a question.
Nothing.
Nobody. And I, at this point, honestly, and I don't mean this as a put down on these guys. I don't know what happened that night, but if you sat there and you didn't ask a question, didn't have something prepared, AEW needs to look at who they're letting into that press room and make sure they're legitimate professionals.
Yeah, it's usually better. They usually have great questions from the press.
Well, with that type of disrespect right there, you know what I mean? I'd have kicked them out.
Well, yeah, that's how I looked at it. I was highly offended when I watched that. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Them all out, especially
you could see that Tony. You could see that Tony Schiavone was kind of like scratching his head.
Yeah,
like you're saying, like I said, I don't watch it, so it's kind of hard for me really to comment on it. But like you guys said, Tony Schiavone was right there. He's asking, the question and everything. They're disrespecting him.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I say they need to rethink who they let back there. If that's the case, I wouldn't let any of those guys back if that were the case.
Because like I said, you don't know sometimes. You know what I mean?
But wait a minute.
Maybe they let them back there and they had no idea that they were going to act like that.
But Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez were asking questions to a lot of the other talent, but nobody had anything for her. It was strictly her.
That's just odd. I recently got a good laugh after AEW's Toni Storm, and Teddy, you'll have to take my word on it. She's actually a very talented individual, and she's a great character for that show.
I've met her before.
Have you? Good. Yes. She had claimed that she had an affair with a wrestling legend, Stan Hansen.
No way. No way. The age difference. No. No.
That ain't got nothing to do with it.
No.
He ain't got nothing to do with it, my man.
No.
So, at a press conference, she was saying that, to make a long story short, that I once had a 3-month love affair with Stan Hansen.
Oh.
And our last night together, as my back was dripping with what turned out to be chewing tobacco, he turned to me and gave me some advice. He said, "When you're in Japan, you're a foreigner. But when but when they step into the ring with you, they're in your country." And then he gave me a lariat, but not with his arm.
Ooh. Oh.
Teddy, I told you, she's a character, man. She is so much fun, and you never know what's going to come out of her mouth. And Bill, I know
great.
you know her.
That's great. I love it.
I see that maybe they had an affair, but I don't think it was sexual in nature. I just couldn't see. I don't want to see that.
Bill, you're old school. Everything's changed now, my man.
I just don't want. I don't want to see Stan Hansen naked.
Well, no.
Well, I wouldn't be looking at Stan Hansen. I'd be looking at Toni Storm.
Well, by the way, Toni Storm, depending upon when this is being taped, is making her debut at CMLL at Arena Mexico. So she's going down to Mexico and becoming a star down there.
I didn't know that.
Her.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, you don't see her as much on AEW like you used to. Which is fine because I think she needs to rest a little bit, but her character is so over. The fans love the entrance, which is black and white. She plays like an old movie star coming out.
Yeah. Marilyn Monroe.
The same. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe type of character. Just great stuff.